telling you is that what's interesting is, despite the power of the right-wing media and everything else, 2/3 of Americans or so understand that we have a really serious problem with global warming. Every poll shows they're willing to do something about it. Our problem at heart is the incredible financial power of this industry. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who spent more money on the election cycle last year than the RNC and the DNC combined, acts essentially as a front group, for instance, for the fossil fuel industry. They filed a brief with the EPA a couple of years ago that said, you know what, you shouldn't regulate carbon because even if the scientists are all right and the planet warms, humans can adapt their behavior and physiology to cope with the heat. That's a pretty extreme and radical idea, changing your anatomy in order to deal with this problem, instead of having the fossil fuel industry modify its business plan to deal with wind and solar. We've got to be calling these people out, and regularly. That's where the fight really is.
Joking, of course. I was struck by how successful the tar sands Keystone XL actions were. I mean, they jumped on the front page. They really had an impact. Where else are you looking at? What other issues, what other specific kinds of issues are ripe for that? And what did you learn from the success of that movement, which is not over, but...
Well, it was, yes, I mean, we won a temporary victory. All environmental victories are temporary, and this one may be more temporary than most because big oil's coming back hard. But it was really interesting. One of the things we learned was that there were a lot of people out there willing to take real action. I mean, when we said, I sent out the letter with Naomi Klein and Wendell Berry and a few other people saying, would you come to Washington and get arrested? We had no idea what to expect. This was well before Occupy, for instance. And that, that 1,200 people plus showed up to get arrested in the biggest civil disobedience action in 30 years taught me that really the possibility of that kind of more militant movement is there. I think one of the next frontiers for this may have to do with looking at divestment from the fossil fuel industry, reminiscent of what happened in the apartheid movement a quarter century ago. We've got to go after that financial power.